This, the U.S. is making a new military move to challenge Iran, sending more forces to the Middle East in response to potential threats against American troops in the region. The Trump administration announced yesterday that a U.S. aircraft carrier and a bomber task force are being sent to areas closer to Iran.
President Trump's national security advisor, John Bolton, says it sends, quote, a clear and unmistakable message to the Iranian regime. He says any attack on United States interest or on those of our allies will be met with, in his words, unrelenting force.
Today is March 15th, and war was declared on Iran. They threatened our country according to the announcements made public by our president. An inside source found out the headquarters of an Iranian military base that was placed undercover as a hospital. My troops will be deployed there to destroy it. Today, my platoon will be deployed to the city of Mashhad. We are expected to arrive later today. So I said goodbye to my parents over a FaceTime call because I did not have enough time to go see them in person. This is all happening so fast, it is hard to imagine a possible future for myself. This could be the way I spend the rest of my life, but this is what I get for joining the military. Just because I'm superstitious, I will have my good luck ring with me. The bright red color of the stone almost resembles blood. It calms me every time I look at it. We arrived at Mashhad today, and the civilians did not look happy. I would like to visit the city of Mashhad again when we're not in the midst of war. The plan for my platoon is to plant the bomb in the center of the hospital and say goodbye to the
March 21st, 2020. My name is Rosanna. As I've been out and about today, I kept happening to overhear conversations circulating the topic of America and a potential war, and just considering the slim chance that happens, I'm going to take a record of what's left of my life. I don't know about consistency or anything, but let's just see how it goes.
This is Iron News, here with Hadida Hadom. Good evening, we are coming on here with breaking news in regards to the bombing that occurred around 7:30 p.m. at the Alat Hospital. It's been a tragic day as families and friends realized their loved ones were lost in a gruesome attack from American troops. At least 800 people were killed with no survivors to be found. Officials are now investigating how it may have possibly played out.
Oh, I wonder what brings Father here. I haven't seen him much the last while. He's in his room all day, barely coming out, and his state seems to be spiraling downhill since the incident causing him to lose his legs. Maybe it wouldn't have been this bad if Count had ruled the opposing guilty. Maybe it wouldn't make Father feel like such a burden, though it isn't his fault. It was just a hit and run.
Rosanna, come quick. Your mother's passed. The hospital's been bombed by the Americans. Those symptoms from the bombs the Americans dropped before. If they hadn't gotten so bad with your mother, she would have been here with us instead of at that damn hospital. Whatever are we gonna do without her? We rely on her, 'cause out here we have nothing. We need to die. I need to die. Our country needs to die. We all need to die. Iran is hopeless. The US is gonna win either way. And either way, we are going to die if we do not leave this place. It is not safe in Iran. Just look at your mother. We must go. We must leave this place, or else we are dead.
What? No, shut up. Don't say that. No.
Strangely enough, today we weren't given any further instructions to either go on or return back to base after we detonated the bomb. Maybe my platoon is supposed to stay and guard the city for any intruders. My troops seem awfully quiet today. All I have gotten out of them are complaints. They have complained about blistering headaches. One of my soldiers felt so bad about what they just did, he tried to take his own life. I don't know what has gotten into my troops.
Today was the day of the funeral. I'm still in complete shock over the fact that Mother is gone. I cannot believe it. I want to die. I don't know what to do without her. She was both my best friend and a figure I looked up to daily. I've been having killer headaches recently, and Father seems to as well. We held the ceremony in our backyard, 50 candles burning delicately, illuminating what used to be Mother's bright eyes. It was her favorite photo, the one Father had taken on their makeshift honeymoon, a little rundown hotel only a few ways from our childhood home, with a cemetery out in the back. To make matters worse, the war has officially ignited and Donald Trump is sending over the troops to Mashhad. My town Akhvaz is far from there, but I still feel scared. Esther and Father have been very gloomy and we really haven't talked much. We've all just been watching each other from afar, and by what I've noticed, Mother's death has shaken Esther up pretty bad, and despite his effort to hide it, Father as well. Esther has a habit of rubbing the ring Mother gave her whenever she needs to calm herself. A silver-plated ring with a red cords gently resting at the top. She says she feels protected when she does, but this loss on top of the war, none of us seem to have the willpower to do anything. Our fate now seems to be out of our hands. God help us.
I don't know what's happening, but something's definitely wrong with Rosanna and Father. They both seem so dazed and whispering things I can't quite make out. They need some fresh air. I think we all do. None of us have seen the light of day since the bombing. No information on the outside world other than through the radio. Hey, what are you doing? Father. Why are you doing that? Put her down. No, stop that. Where are you going? He's bringing Rosanna up to the roof with him. Get down from there. You're gonna get hurt.
This is Iron News, here with Hadidai Haddo. Death rates all along Iran is at an all-time high after the bombing. Further investigation states it is something out of the ordinary.
All this time having the ring on me, I never actually noticed the engraving placed at the inner part of the ring. Something AX. Is that an N? M? Max. Max? That name. I remember reading about him in one of Mother's old journal entries from when she'd live in America. A former lover. Max. A soldier, if I remember correctly. If this all started out at the heart of Avaz, that means it could only point to the hospital. That's where the bombing was. The bomb. Both Rosanna and Father had the headaches, and I didn't. But why? Oh. The ring.
Group analysis. Number 1. The theme that we explored in our podcast is there is no limit as to the amount of control technology can have on people. The podcast clearly shows that the technology has no limit on how it is impacting people and how they live. Rosanna, Casper, and Maxwell got affected by 5G and ended up losing their lives. And with the potential surrounding 5G right now, this science fiction podcast isn't too far from manifesting into reality. Not only 5G, but any kind of technology that is being created can have the power to change people's lives for good and bad. Society, culture, technology, ethics. Technology. The idea that podcast has on technology is that as the tech evolves and changes, the world changes as well, and it's not always a good thing. We would say that as the technology is evolving, the world is becoming a harder place to live in. The topic that we covered earlier in class, such as terms and conditions and privacy, is becoming a big concern for the public. As the time passes, new problems will start to occur, and in the ways that we cannot imagine. The statement that we are making here is that as the technology evolves, the war becomes more aggressive, and war will always be a tragedy no matter what it is caused by. Course essential questions. Are media and technology used limiting or changing how we think and what we can imagine? The technology that is being used in this podcast, 5G, is changing the way we think and view technology. People tend to underestimate the capabilities of technology with what was shown in the podcast as an example. The characters should have now realized how far technology can go and what happened, what being the mind control and health issues. Even just with that, we know it can go much further, more intense. Are media and technology used improving individuals in the world? In the podcast, we've purposely decided to show the negatives of technology since that's often overlooked and violated by the positives, and that's why we really don't have anything on tech improving anyone's lives. Although the effects were extreme and dramatized, it's what had to be done to get the point across. How do people make decisions? What do they use to help them make those decisions? What are the problems with the sources they choose, and what can go wrong? People would ideally make decisions based on information, there being two types. Information gathered through personal experiences and what was given by an outside source. Information from past experiences cannot be strictly judged due to personal differences, but the risk lies at where the outside information obtained through what source. The dangers of fake news was covered enough in this course. Fake news spreads like wildfire, especially now with the surrounding and cutting-edge technology. The podcast discreetly demonstrated these intensities in the first few updates through Maxwell proposing that him and his troop were only following what they were told.